Good day, Earth, and welcome to the International Space Station. Today, I have the privilege of supporting an interesting research experiment in the biomedical science and healthcare, which uses a space environment to conduct research which is strongly relevant to life on Earth. Diabetes is a chronic health condition that affects how your body turns food into energy, and close to 500 million people are living with diabetes worldwide, and the number is projected to increase in the years to come. With this experiment, the scientists aim to improve the efficiency of treating diabetic foot ulcers and make a real difference in the life of people affected by the condition. The mouse studies aim to identify important biomarkers found in the human skin microbiome that can potentially be targeted for therapy. Skin tissue samples of patients from both Malta and Saudi Arabia populations are integrated in this experiment here in the ICE Cube facility in the European Columbus module. This experiment is led by biomedical scientists at the University of Malta in collaboration with scientists from King Faisal Specialist Hospital and Research Center in Saudi Arabia, Weill Cornell Medicine in the USA, and the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center in the UAE, who will all benefit from the resulting data and share it with the world. This experiment is just the beginning of what we can achieve together through international collaboration. And as a UAE astronaut, I'm happy to contribute, and I'm confident that the results of this project will inspire future generations to pursue their dreams and make positive impact on the world. Thank you for your time and attention, and greeting from space.
Viktoria and Yvette, I wanted to play that video, so you've got it. Are you okay for me to play the Arabic one as well? Because I think it'll do really well for that whole region, because I want that included in what you guys are doing, right? So this is why I was waiting to put that in. So give me a second. Let me add that one as well.
مرحبا بكم على متن محطة فضاء الدولية. اليوم حظيت بفرصة المساهمة في تجربة في مجال العلوم الطبية التي تستخدم بيئة الفضاء لإجراء بحوث مرتبطة بالحياة على سطح الأرض. يعتبر مرض السكري من الأمراض المزمنة التي تؤثر على جسم الإنسان وعلى طريقة تحويله الغذاء إلى طاقة. ويعاني من مرض السكر ما يقارب النصف مليار مصاب على مستوى العالم، ومن المتوقع أن يزداد هذا العدد في السنوات القادمة. ومن خلال هذه التجربة يتطلع العلماء إلى التقليل من مضاعفات هذا المرض، مثل تحسين علاج تقرحات قدم المصابين بالسكري. وتعمل دراسة مالث على تحديد المؤثرات والمؤشرات الحيوية في جلد الإنسان التي من الممكن استهدافها بالعلاج. وعليه دمجنا عينات مأخوذة من مصابي السكري في المملكة العربية السعودية ومالطا في هذا المكعب آيس كيوب في وحدة كولومبوس الأوروبية. يقود هذه التجربة علماء الطب الحيوي في جامعة مالطا بالتعاون مع علماء مستشفى الملك فيصل التخصصي ومركز الأبحاث في المملكة العربية السعودية وجامعة ويل كورنل في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية ومركز محمد بن راشد للفضاء في الإمارات العربية المتحدة. هذه التجربة هي مجرد بداية لما يمكن تحقيقه معا في المستقبل، وهذا كله من ضمن التعاون الدولي. وأنا سعيد بمشاركتي في هذه التجربة كرائد فضاء من دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة، وأنا متأكد من أن نتائج هذا المشروع سيكون لها تأثير إيجابي على العالم ومصدر إلهام للأجيال القادمة. شكرا لحسن استماعكم، ولكم تحياتي من الفضاء.
Yvette, welcome to this stream from the ISS. We just saw the astronaut Sultan Al-Niyadi talk about the cube Maleth, which was put together by Professor Joseph Borge, and it was sent to the space station. I'd love for you to, you've been involved in space for such a long time now, and today we're going to be streaming some of your work and some of the things you're doing. Tell us about you, and tell us about what we're about to see in terms of what these logos and these artworks represent.
Thank you, Wasim, and thank you to Camilo and your team and Metavisionaries for this opportunity. It's been really exciting to know that we can marry art and science, and that it's actually working together right now, and that we can actually be part of that. So I really thank you for the privilege to be part of that, and thank the ISS team for their efforts and support. The IIAS logo that you see here on the screen stands for the International Institute for Astronautical Sciences, and we are an international community that does suborbital operational science. And so we do bioastronautics, which is spacesuit, both extravehicular and intravehicular training. We do space operations, and the community is more than 400 students from around the world. So it's a really global team. It has been built organically around the idea that space and STEM should be accessible to everyone. So I agree with Miriam, who spoke earlier about it being for all. We're doing our best to make sure that that's accurate and possible for many. This institute is online, and this logo was actually created by one of our peers, Tom Foltz, who actually does most of our logos for all our outreach programs as well.
Fantastic.
The second logo oh, sorry, I didn't know if you could see the second logo.
No, carry on. Let me just get the second up for you. Give me one second. There you go.
Okay. Well, a Native Sky was on that one with it because you can see them together.
Sorry, Joseph, can you go back one logo?
Sorry about that.
All right. Native Sky.
Thank you. The one that you see under is also done by our peer, Shayla Redmond. So what we have in our community, not surprisingly, is that a lot of people who are in the space industry in STEM are also avid artists and creating patches, logos. This one is Native Sky. It is a nonprofit that we co-founded with a team of Indigenous women. So right now we're 100% Indigenous, and the artist who did this is actually Afro-Indigenous. We work together to ensure that STEAM, well, that's with the A, and space education and curricula are available to Indigenous communities. And this is worldwide as well.
Fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Can you go to the next one, Joseph? All right.
And here you see our secondary IIAS full logo, which is the one that's multicolored. But the one below it, Sky Indicators, is a research team which works on bringing crowd science to marginalized and hard to reach places and communities. Basically taking pictures of upper atmospheric clouds, putting them into both a Facebook group and to an app. And what we're trying to do is really build out the ability for citizens anywhere, students, educators, families, to actually use open source data from both satellite imagery and from ground observation so that they can make solutions together, create and develop strategies for resilience and adaptation to climate change. And the final one is Legacy Series. This is the one with the on the bottom right. In fact, this one is our newest nonprofit created this year or last year. And this is for space flight opportunities, suborbital and orbital, for underrepresented communities around the world. And so we will do everything from all female space flights and even international space flights. And those will be announced soon. Our website is live, but this logo that you see here was created by Dr. Priyanka Das. And what we're trying to do is ensure that every spaceflight has an impact project attached, and those will include education, art, and research. And the impact projects aren't limited, but we thought it was really important to bring in our artists first and foremost. So those impact projects will be launched, no pun intended, way before the spaceflights take place. And we want to know that the enduring legacy of the work that these crews will be doing is really rooted in what they can do here on Earth.
Fantastic. Well, what you're doing is fantastic. It's inspirational. It's really needed, especially with the kind of this exponential moment of change we're going through. So keep doing what you're doing. I'm really looking forward to working with you. Thank you so much for partnering with us on this. I mean, as I said, the work you're doing is inspirational. It's so important to get that message out there. And we look forward to continuing to work with you.
And thank you. Likewise, we're really excited about all your efforts and all the collaborative future we have together.
Perfect. So Viktoria, now we're going to, I want to introduce you and talk a bit about what you've already been doing and what you've achieved. Okay, welcome to this live session with this amazing person who has been inspirational for communities globally. We have Viktoria Modesta with us. Viktoria, so welcome to this live session. I'm so glad you're here. You've been inspiring communities globally from such a young age. Tell us about how that came to be. And today we're going to be actually streaming that inspiration live from the International Space Station from the Spaceomics Maleth III cube. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, I'm really chuffed to be part of this project. The sort of the space conversation is fairly new to my career, but I have, I guess you could say that I have pushed all of the boundaries of the human experience in my life. I've had a pretty intense young life in terms of my physical health and also relocating countries. And I have landed on art practices and realizing that the answers that I was looking for regarding my identity were nowhere to be found when it came to a lot of the things that existed in culture, in society. So for me, delving into culture and art was really the answer. And so after a tiny little backstory for anyone that sort of isn't familiar, I basically relocated from the former Soviet Union to UK and had a very long journey of operations and kind of really spent a lot of isolated time, which resembles a lot when we think about going to space, funny enough. And I landed in my career just being really interested in all kinds of creative arts, whether it was performance art, whether it's music, fashion and design. And I actually ended up having an elected amputation when I was 20 to safeguard my health. And I think that honestly, that was the first time that I realized that with the tools that we are given, such as our creativity and our imagination, we can really transform not only our bodies and our lives, but literally our whole destiny, which is something that I committed to since that time. And I went on to design some of the most artsy and innovative prosthetics that you might ever see on the internet to date. Performed at the London Paralympic closing ceremony in 2012, where I wore a diamond encrusted prosthetic, which actually kind of probably was a really important moment because it was a showcase of how to turn things that felt like a life sentence into like a Cinderella sort of story for me. And then I went on to work with Channel 4 and their Born Risky campaign around the superhumans, which honestly till now I feel like is still one of the most important media campaigns out there when it comes to thinking about ability and disability. And from that moment, I was very lucky to be invited to MIT Media Lab, where I was a fellow for the following 6 years. And so for most of the recent times, my work has existed between pop culture and academia and sciences and engineering, and also the art world. And honestly, I have had so much fun. And sometimes people ask me, how would you describe your work? And I'll say that primarily I'm an artist, I'm a creative director, a champion of emerging technology and future innovations, and futurist. And that looks like embarking on a lot of experiments, a lot of journeys where I test everything there is at human disposal when it comes to augmenting your body, augmenting your identity, and try to sort of understand of what, instead of it being like this concept of post-humanism, what does that look like in practice? what are the ways that we can start thinking about ourselves now as these futuristic humans that are conquering all corners, from Earth to the metaverse to now space. More recently, and I guess sort of leading on to space conversation, is I have been an ambassador for the first accessibility program called Mission Astro Access. I've done a couple of zero gravity flights and experiments with them, and also with Aurelia Institute. And I would say that I'm pretty set on course now to keep seeing how we can absolutely push our imagination to the max when it comes to exploring this new culture, right? The space culture of what do we take with us? What do we build? Who do we become once we live in microgravity? What do we wear? These are all things that sort of occupy my mind, and I'm just delighted to be part of your project, because it's a match made in heaven. Yeah. You're muted.
We're really looking forward to all the next steps and what we do, and how we share your journey and what we can do together. So first of all, Yvette, thank you for introducing us and bringing us all together. And Viktoria, your story is just absolutely amazing, and such inspiration. And not only is it inspirational, I think there's a lot of impact that will come on it, which is very tangible. So with that, Joseph, if we go on to the next part, and we'll watch this video, and then Viktoria will ask you to tell us about it.
Okay.
Wow. Viktoria, tell us about that.
So this clip is an extract from this latest documentary series called Who I Am, and it was commissioned by the Paralympic Committee, actually, in Japan, which is sort of a series that they created pre-Paralympics in Japan, highlighting profiles from sort of people who are, I guess, adopting good ways of dealing with the things that have been thrown at them, so to say. So throughout the journey, when they followed me for a year, this specific segment was actually the first time that I got to collaborate with this musical composer, Kiichiro Shibuya. And the scene is at the Osaka University of Arts. And he's someone who is a AI music composer. He has worked with several androids and has been sort of, engaging in a relationship where the android has been learning from him and doing back and forth when it comes to music. And for me, when I interface with technology, it's almost like a spiritual experience, because I see technology beyond sort of a consumer product, right? I see it as something that can fundamentally help you express yourself, help you connect and share your imagination in ways that haven't been done before. So when we did this little jam experiment, which is what it was just kind of incredible where it went. I don't think that something like that has been done before. And, I thought it was specifically important to see all of that in the backdrop of a little bit of flashback of my life as well, and some of the other projects that I've done. It felt like a release, and I think that most importantly, I think the music and the sort of the lyrics that I was using during that time just encapsulate, our humanity. How do we're no longer just trying to survive with the idea of going to space, right? We're thinking about building some kind of a future, building some kind of a new culture, building new experiences. And, as long as we are how we have been, we will need to feed a lot of our senses. We will need to hear and see art and experience art that will, let us continue exploring and feeling like, we're here for a reason. We're, I genuinely feel that art is really, really important in the context that we're talking about.
Amazing. So, Viktoria, we're going to show another clip. Joseph, if you want to go ahead.
Hard to tell the truth, spending your life tearing your soul, lines in the skies, starts to blur the view. Scanning in the mirror, currency is fear. Every imperfection, underneath the pressure in the mirror, giving up on love. Why you do what you do, feeling like you're not enough. Sounds so serious, give yourself all the trust. Only you coming through, resonate, level up. It belongs to you. Face purest connection, embrace your design. Call your intuition, find truth in lies. Scanning in the mirror, currency is spirit. Every imperfection, underneath the pressure in the mirror. Give yourself all the trust. Only you coming through, resonate, level up. It belongs to you.
That is fantastic. That gave me goosebumps, and that's something
I
where I want
love
to start
that one.
again.
I love
Right?
that one. It's really beautiful.
Well, you'll see me get back on the dance floor for that one.
Right. We were already
Absolutely.
dancing.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. I have to say that watching this video in this context has sort of given me a whole fresh round of goosebumps, to be honest. So this song is from my last record called Moksha, and this specific video was actually created during the time when I met a friend of mine called Erica Bernhard, who was working as a creative director for the web team. And it just so happens that, I was releasing the music and I was friends with her, and I was planning a performance at Yuri's Night under the space shuttle here in LA. And, we needed to create some visuals for the song, and it just all like happened within a week. A friend of mine, Sage Murray, who's a really talented animator, who's a huge fan of everything to do with space, we just literally just synced up. And I think that the philosophy behind the web project and, this search for the first light, this search for light at all, and this kind of in this vastness of the universe, it just sort of resonated so much with me. It really made me feel connected to that song, this idea of searching something within yourself, of, looking for that light within yourself. And it's, the inspiration kind of just came really, really fast. And I think that we made that video in like a week, which is unheard of when it comes to like rendering and stuff. And also we got to use the Viktoria avatar, which is something that I've been exploring a lot recently, because, I think that what our virtual identity is for and how that's used, I think is really, really important. And so, I've been exploring ways for my avatar to have impact in the world and for her to be able to do something. I'm human. I can't be out there 24/7 in my perfect spike leg and, out there engaging in whatever the superhero version of me does. So so it just, when I was performing this song under the space shuttle, it was kind of like I felt like it was a theme song for what we're like trying to do here. Just this thing of like just believing in our intuition, believing in our humanity, believing in ourselves, and really not being afraid to sort of tell that human story. Because for me as an artist, that is what's missing at the moment. We have sort of almost like removed the emotional experience from what the astronauts need to do. It's almost like how much stability can you have emotionally. But I think that naturally, from the embodiment of being and weightlessness to looking back on Earth to all of it, it's so full of emotion. And I just cannot wait to see what type of new design and art and music will be inspired by people, having access to space, basically.
Well, I think it's such an important time when we talk about accessibility and also making sure that accessibility is diverse as it can be. And, you ladies are leading the charge. So thank you so much. And what I'm going to do now is ask Joseph to join us and tell us about the project. Let me just send in the link. A second.
While we wait for him, I wanted to also mention, role models like Viktoria, in our community are really critical for the students because they're watching. and they're watching that this evolution that we're going through right now, and the fast, rapid paced progress in the industry, is also shedding light on the fact that there are many non-traditional paths to space and to STEM, and that it is certainly critical and relevant right now to bring in music, painting, artistic, creative endeavors, innovation through arts. That sensory and physiological experience also can inspire the human condition, right? And technology, and vice versa. So I think it's important to understand that a lot of the students that come through our program will actually ask, oh, I'm not an engineer, or I didn't study a STEM degree. Can I participate? And we're like, absolutely. Our community has singers, musicians, artists, dancers, and a lot of the experiments that we do and conduct for space and technology have everything to do with the work that is inspired through things like what Viktoria is doing. So I have to commend you all for including this and making it a point to include art.
Well,
hello, good evening, everyone.
None
Hi,
of this
Joseph.
would happen if it wasn't for Joseph. I want to thank our partners at Space Applications and iTunes, ICE CUBES. I'll repeat that. I want to thank our partners at Space Applications and ICE CUBES. Hilda, Richard, Mauro, they're just a fantastic group of people. Andre, and Joseph, you made this happen.
Yes, so I'm the
How-
person
How do you go
behind
from
the scenes.
how do you go from not having a space agency to being able to send experiments to space, and the fact that what made you think about bringing creatives and artists like Viktoria and Yvette within the fold?
I mean, I'm a scientist, right? I work at university, and I've been doing this now for the past 12, 13 years, working on DNA biology and genetics. And the idea of space bioscience, or taking DNA science into space, was something which was at the back of my mind. During the pandemic year was when I was, inspired. I was also reading more than usual. And I had discovered or realized that from Malta, no one had sent an experiment to space before. It is true, there's no space agency per se, but that didn't stop me. I said, I mean, we should do this. I should do this, and I just went ahead and I did it. I reached out. I had amazing contacts with Space Applications and ICE CUBES. And from here, I say thank you to them. And with them, just now we've sent our third experiment to space. So we started in 2021. We sent our first one. Last year was our second one. And last month, we sent our third mission, where we took arts and music, including Yvette and Viktoria Modesta. The experiment, it is what it is. It is a life science experiment. And there are biological specimens, and we monitored that before launch and after. But the experiment also contains a Raspberry Pi computer. It contains an SD card, and that is how we communicate with it from Earth to space and back. And because we have free digital space or empty space that we can insert or enter arts, Word documents, or audio files or audio clips, for me, this is one way how to inspire people who might not necessarily be space science enthusiasts, but also arts, and they will see this from a different perspective. And I hope, even if it, inspires one person or few people, it would have been, it would have been already worth.
Well, Joseph, your inspiration in everything you do. Because of you, we've got these amazing ladies on the call with us, and we've been able to really share some amazing inspiration. And there's a lot of things that we're putting in the pipeline this year. We've got Space Innovation Labs, we've got Polaris Dawn mission with Joseph, and there's this massive inspiration with Joseph and ourselves to get to not just the moon, but also the mission to Mars. So, and we're so happy to share that with you all, and we hope you can join us in that. So, Joseph, again, thank you. Yvette, thank you so much for connecting us to Viktoria and just for all the work you're doing. And Victoria,
It
you're
was
fantastic.
from my end. It was a real pleasure and honor to host work such as Yvette, Victoria, Marian, and others before them as well. I mean, I usually work in lab with my people and my team, and I don't really spend too much time looking at art or thinking of different things, except maybe I see art in the lab, right? Maybe that also exists. But seeing the logos and hearing Yvette talk, and also seeing the video clips by Viktoria Modesta, it was truly inspirational. So well done, well done.
And thank you all. I have to say as well, I did not acknowledge this before, but the students that you had on earlier, I mean, what a privilege to see emerging leaders have this opportunity and be able to be part of this and already starting so young to be creative. So I commend them and I was very impressed.
Thank you. Thank you. And to all the GSSE participants, thank you so much for being here. And this is only the start. We're hoping this goes so much further. So I'd like to thank you all for your time, your patience. I know I can be like all over the place. And Camilo is the guy who tries to hold me down and be like, hey, you need to get this done and this done. But really, thank you so much for all of you for being part of this.
Amazing. Thank you so much. This has been really, really just made my day. And I just can't wait for more people to hear about this project.
Fantastic. All right, ladies. Joseph, thank you so much. Have a good night. Camilo, I know it's like, yeah, it's all right. It's normal for you when you're working with me. It doesn't matter.
Past midnight. It's past
yeah,
midnight.
that's why I said it's normal for you, right? I just want to say a special thank you to you. I may not say it enough, and you make it happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Wasim. But it's also
Thank you.
thank you. It's also a team effort from the entire Metavisionaries team, like Usman, Mariam, Ayesha, all the team also working behind the scenes.
We've got something special planned for all of them tomorrow. So we're going to enjoy that. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye, bye,
Joseph.
bye, bye.
Bye.